Hey everyone, this time on Tim Talks Audio, we go over when and why to use automation. We've talked about it before, but automation is a great and powerful tool. And really, let's hone in on what it is. Automation is telling Studio One or your DAW of choice to do a task over and over again. You want to repeat the same process every single time you hit play. You can tell Studio One or your DAW, do this every single time, and it automatically does it. Automation, that's where the name comes from. But you may be asking, well, what kind of things do I need to automate? Really, the choice is yours. I'm going to give you a few examples, so let's dive into the DAW and take a look at writing some automation. So here we are inside of our session, and I have the Presonus IO Station 24C over here ready to go. You don't need a hardware controller to write your automation. We'll do some with the 24C and some inside the DAW with just our mouse and keyboard, but it's still all the same thing. So let's go over some of the easy automation things first. One of the first one would probably be volume automation. Maybe you want to have a part come up in volume in some sections and down in volume in other sections. The song I'm working on today doesn't really have a lot going on, so I'm just going to show you a volume swell. It'll be the same thing, and I'll have the volume come up and then come back down a little bit. So before we do anything, I have these two main rhythm guitars, and what I want to do is first I'm going to put them back to 0, and I'm going to do this by holding Command and clicking on the fader after I have them both selected. Then I can right click on one and do Add Bus for selected channels. I also had a shortcut for that, which was Option Control B on my Mac, but this is something that I did. If you want to use the same or make your own, you can do that in your keyboard shortcuts. Just going to rename this real quick to guitars, and there we go. So now here's what I want to do. Is I am going to take my guitar fader here and drop it all the way down to 0. Then what we'll do is we will change our automation mode. If you don't already know, I have a video talking about the different modes of automation and how they work. I'll put a link in the description, or you can go ahead and click the flag on the top right now. So I'm going to go ahead and go with latch on this one. Now, I know my IO station is already selected on this channel, and what I want to do is have a volume fade in of these rhythm guitars. So I'll hit play, touch the fader, and push it up. Here we go. And there we go. When I hit stop, it stopped writing the automation. And when I let go of the fader itself, it latched the last known control point. That's what latch does. Now, what I'm going to want to do is actually just kind of get rid of these points at the end, and this will hold my automation for the remainder of this little thing that I put together. That's number one. That's volume automation. We swelled those guitars up, brought them down a little, and then put them right back into place. Now, what I want to make sure to do is put this channel into read mode. I did that on the IO Station 24, but really all you have to do is come down here and switch it to read. Now, if we play back again, it will read our automation. You can use volume automation for all kinds of movement within your song. Maybe you want to bring a vocal up a little bit in a chorus, or bring it down a little bit when it's competing with a guitar or a synth line or anything else in your song. You can be really creative with volume automation, but that's not all you can do. Let's go with another kind of automation, and that's pan automation. Let's take this guitar here, which has been muted for now, and we're just going to bring our volume up. We'll find it in our song and just kind of get a balance real quick. That's close enough, so we'll go with that. But what I want to do is have this solo guitar kind of move between my left and right a little bit. So let's do some pan automation. Now, what I want to do is come over to my guitar, and we'll do this one with mouse and keyboard. I can right click over here and go to Show Hide Automation. Or you can use the keyboard shortcut of A. Now we're showing the automation on all of our channels. If you see this in your display, it's because you've hit A on your keyboard and it just turns automation on for all channels. If you want to turn it off, just hit A again. But like I said, it's all channels. My volume automation that we saw before on this bus is gone. If you just want to do one track, you can right click and show hide automation. So let's do that with this solo guitar. And now what I want to do is my pan automation. Let me go ahead and get my mixer out of the way and get this track really big so we can see what we're doing. When the pan automation line is in the center, this is coming out of the center. When it is towards the top, it's coming out of the left, and when it's down towards the bottom, it's coming out towards the right. Let's go ahead and add some automation notes in, and I kind of want to do this easy. I want to make it kind of sweeping between the two. So I can go ahead and grab my paint tool, and I'm going to open it up for a sine wave. Then I'm going to change my quantize level to, let's go with bars. That'll be fine. I'm going to click and drag out. As you can see, nothing has changed because I've only dragged my mouse from left to right. But if I start moving my mouse up and down, you'll see I start to get this sine wave. And I'm just going to go extreme and push it really far. And what this is doing is telling the pan that as it plays, I want it to push towards the left at this note here. As you can see, left 75, and then it's going to come all the way back down to right 75. And it's going to keep traveling this amount as it plays back. So let's take a listen to this. Mind you, we're still in read mode right now. And we ended right back in the center. Now, that was a little much for me, so what I can do while I have everything selected still is come back up to my paint tool and change it to the transform tool. I can select my region and actually just compress it down a little. So now it's not going to be nearly as extreme. And I only want to do a little bit. Let's go with 35 or whatever this is. And now let's listen. So it's still giving us that left-right movement and not nearly as far out to the sides. And we're going to stick with that. Let's talk about some more creative things you can do with automation. One of the most popular things are called delay throws. And this is taking your signal and having a send on your channel. So here's our channels. And you may have seen before on this solo guitar, I have a send to my quarter note and half note delays. And these are just synced up with the tempo of the song and returned on these channels over here. So what I want to do is send a copy of the signal only at certain times to my delays. I don't want to send signal the entire time and just have the delays going always. I only want a few notes here and there, and I want to change which ones they're going to. Maybe I want a couple going to the quarter note and a couple going to the half note. Let's do two different ways of doing this. First one, with our quarter note, we'll come over, and if you don't already see it, you can right click and edit automation on any one of your sends. So this is edit automation send level for our quarter note delay. So let's go ahead and edit our send level here, and we'll get rid of our mixer because now we can see our send level is what is active here, and it's highlighted as pink. So let's send some notes. I want to send my first note, maybe this one here, and maybe this one over here to my quarter note delay. And you may see there's a bunch of lines going on. What we're looking at are our other lanes that are in the background of automation. One was that pan delay that we have going on, and another is something we'll get to in a few minutes. So like we said, we want to send a few notes. So what I'm actually going to do is just select a region, and then I can hover towards the top and start bringing some level up. I'm going to eyeball it to about here. And I know I don't want the next note coming in, but it's because I'm on snap to grid and my quantize was set to bars. So I can actually just take these points and get them out of the way. So we'll do the same thing here for this note. Push it up. We'll push a little bit more there. And we'll do it for a few of these notes. We'll push these ones up. So now let's listen to this and listen for the delay that's happening. And I'll make sure to play through this big gap here so you can hear the delays kind of fading out. It may have gotten lost in the mix a little, so here's that same thing soloed. And one more time, in my Ampire, I do have some delay pedal going on. I'm just going to take these off, but I'm going to leave my wah-wah on for now. One more time in solo with the stomp boxes off, now listening to our quarter note delay throws. So there we go, we did our quarter note delay throws. Now let's change it up to our half note delays. And for this one, I'm going to use the IO Station 24 again. And it's not just the IO Station 24. You can do this with a fader port, the classic, fader port version 2, fader port 8, or fader port 16. Really, you can do this with any controller. I'm just using this one because it's handy, small, and fun. For this one though, I'm going to put the IO Station into touch. It's still going to read some of my other automation, and I only want to do automation to my half note delays and when I'm actually doing stuff to it. Now, here's the thing though. Right now, the fader on here is set for the volume of this channel, but it's easy enough to change this. Because I'm messing with my half note delay, that was the last known parameter that I have going on. Now what I can do is I can assign the fader of my IO Station 24 to the send level of my half note delay. And you may have seen the fader drop just then. Now, when I touch this as it plays through, this is going to write the automation for me. And then when I let go, it'll bring it back to where it is. Take a look. I used touch automation mode to ride my fader up and create the half note delay throws for this guitar part. Now all I need to do is pop the channel back into read, take it out of solo, and listen to everything that we've done so far. Okay, so we've written some very fun automation so far, but there's a reason that I left the wah pedal on, and that's my last lane of automation. This is the actual wah that I have going on in my instance of Ampire. What I did is I opened up the plugin just like this, right-clicked on this parameter here, and then I connected it to the IO Station 24C in order to ride the fader and create that wah, as if I had my foot on the wah-wah pedal itself. Then I made sure that my plugin was in read, because sometimes you do need to do this, but not all the time. I just wanted to play it safe and put it on. And that is what we are looking at right here. This is my wah automation. If I was going to take all of these nodes and delete them, now listen to the guitar part. Not nearly as fun. If we undo and put that wah back in, And I put this up on purpose. You saw that the IO Station 24 fader was still following the half note delay throws that we did just a minute ago. If we want to change this, it's our last known parameter, so we can just assign the fader to our wah. Now watch it go. Man, that thing was dancing, but it's following the automation. You might be curious, okay, well, I've assigned the fader to this automation, but I just want to go back to it being a volume control. It's easy. Open up your mixer, open up external, and then find your IO Station 24. And just hit reset. This puts it back to a volume control for the selected channel you have. Then you can hit channel and cycle through the channels as you would. So let's take a look at what we did real quick. What I'm actually going to do is open up all of my automation lanes, and that was this button right here. It looks like a little sine wave. When you have automation or multiple lanes of automation, you can view them all here. So we don't have any volume automation on this channel, but we do on our rhythm guitar bus. We have some pan automation going on. Our mute automation isn't happening because I didn't do any. Our wah pedal automation, send level for our half note delay, and send level for our quarter note delay. And this is just one channel. You can do this for all of your channels, and Studio One or your DAW will keep up with you. So there you go. It's a few reasons that you would use automation inside your session. There's so many limitless possibilities that you can do with automation. This is just a little stepping stone to help you get into the world of automation and show you how powerful it can actually be. It can be doing all of these things, and while the guitar or anything else that you're working on is doing all this crazy stuff, you can go work on something else and make sure that it is getting the same attention that this part did. That's all for now. If you found anything informative, please like and share the video. For more, visit timflansbaum.com, and if you have a question, ask it in the comments and I'll answer it in a future video. Thanks for watching.